Good morning. This is Orly Taitz, and this is Taitz Report. I would like to give an update in regards to the litigation in regards to Barack Obama's use of a stolen Social Security number and fabricated IDs, as well as in regards to other issues that are in the news today. Just recently, I have submitted to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals an appeal on behalf of several electors, among them James Greenhalgh, who is the named plaintiff, the lead plaintiff in the case, and a few other electors and presidential candidates against Barack Obama, U.S. Congress, Electoral College, Governor of the State of California, and Secretary of State of the State of California. The case dealt with Obama's use of fabricated IDs, stolen Social Security number, stealing the U.S. presidency by fraud and use of fabricated IDs, as well as the fact that we have found 1.5 million invalid voter registrations in the databases of the Secretary of State of California. Therefore, elections that we had in 2012 are totally invalid. What is most appalling in regards to what happened in this case is the fact that the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of California, Benjamin Wagner, and his assistant U.S. Attorney, Ed Olson, have signed documents, have signed pleadings to the court stating that they represent the U.S. Congress and they represent the Electoral College, while in reality, they never notified either the Congress or the Electoral College in regards to this case. And when I attended the CPAC convention and I asked members of the U.S. Congress, why did they want this case dismissed? Why didn't they want an injunction of a certification of Obama votes pending verification of his IDs? They stated that the U.S. attorneys have never forwarded to them any pleadings, any exhibits. I filed a motion to recuse the U.S. Attorney's Office. I also got similar statements from members of the Electoral College. I sought to recuse the U.S. Attorney's Office from representation of the U.S. Congress and Electoral College, and the judge simply covered this all up. What he did was just a stunt where he canceled the hearing dealing with my motion to recuse. The U.S. Attorney's Office has never even responded. There was no response. The judge has canceled that particular hearing. Then during the next hearing, he dismissed the case with bogus excuses, claiming lack of jurisdiction. And later on, he denied the motion, not on the merits, but he denied it as moot, saying, well, I already dismissed the case, so I'm not going to even look at the fact that members of the Department of Justice, U.S. attorneys, have lied. And what we see here, it's a de facto criminal, just like organized crime. We have the two branches of the U.S. government, the judiciary branch in the form of a high-ranking federal judge, and the executive branch in the form of represented by the U.S. attorneys, colluding to defraud the U.S. Congress, to rob the U.S. Congress of its right to know whether we have a legitimate president. This is criminal. And I have asked the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals to forward this to a special prosecutor, similar to the prosecutor that we had in Watergate, like Archibald Cox or Leon Jaworski, and also forward this to the federal grand jury, not only because of fraud committed by Obama and his use of all fabricated IDs and a stolen Social Security number, but also because of fraud committed by the U.S. attorneys and because of complicity of a federal judge. Further, we have a situation where Attorney General of California, Kamala Harris, has argued in another case that actually was heard pretty much at the same time, she argued that Secretary of State can throw somebody off the ballot and the court can hear this case. In this case, she argued the opposite. Why so? Well, the answer is very simple. The Secretary of State of California is a liberal Democrat. Attorney General Kamala Harris, not only a liberal Democrat, but she is the sister-in-law of number 2 in Obama Justice Department, Tony West. So she's a fundraiser. She organized fundraisers to help Obama, or Obama has organized fundraisers to help her to get in the position of the Attorney General of California. So they covered up for each other. And this is fraud. It's a totally unethical behavior. And again, I'm asking the court not only to reverse this decision, but send this to a special prosecutor. Another issue that screams fraud and violation of due process rights and equal protection rights of the U.S. citizens is the issue of Barack Obama instructing his Secret Service to refuse any service of process. So when professional process servers went to the White House to serve him, they were told they cannot do it. They have to go to Department of Justice. So they went to Department of Justice. They served Obama with pleadings through Department of Justice. He did not respond. So I have filed a motion for injunctive relief, and therefore, I'm sorry, I cannot talk now. I have filed a motion for can you close the door? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I have filed a motion for injunctive relief, and I have filed a motion for default judgment. In this motion, I was stating that Barack Obama was served and he didn't respond. So what the judge did, he stated, well, because you served Obama through the Department of Justice and you did not serve him at his residence in the White House, I'm not going to give you the default judgment. So I have filed another motion stating, you cannot do this. It was impossibility. I could not. The process server went to the White House, was told by the Secret Service that he has to go to the Department of Justice, and therefore you cannot deny the default judgment. And we also had another case where the federal judge demanded to do just that. And again, Judge Morrison C. England did not respond to this motion for reconsideration. Again, he denied it as moot because he didn't want to deal with inconvenient truth. And this is very dangerous because that takes away from U.S. citizens their ability and their constitutional right, First Amendment right for redress of grievances. It takes away from them their ability to sue the president. He can. We know that presidents were sued before. For example, Clinton was sued with the Paula Jones case. Barack Obama is shielding himself by playing games, and the judges are criminally complicit in aiding and abetting Obama in shielding him through their decisions. So this has to be reversed. Next, as I stated, we had a hearing in the 4th District Court of Appeal in Santa Ana, California. We are waiting for a decision there. And we're also waiting for decisions in 6 other cases. We were asked, so far, we asked to expedite, but so far there are no decisions. Next is the issue of amnesty. As you know, the oligarchy, a group of the wealthiest Americans, have organized, as a matter of fact, George Soros has organized a group of billionaires and multimillionaires, and so did Mark Zuckerberg. And they are lobbying and pressuring members of U.S. House of Representatives to pass this amnesty bill, which is the worst thing that can ever happen to this nation. What they are trying to do is make few more billions by lowering the wages of American workers. That's what they're doing. When those billionaires are buying corrupt politicians And those politicians are passing anti-American, totally treasonous laws, like we had Bill Clinton pass NAFTA and WTO GET, which robbed Americans of 28 million manufacturing jobs. Now, the same mafia, billionaires mafia, is robbing Americans of their wages, of their jobs and benefits by seeking legalization of estimated 42 million illegals. They state it's only 11, 12 million, but according to immigration and deportation officers, it's more like 42 million. And this is very dangerous because if this happens, when the country is flooded with 42 million people who just got their citizenship, who are hungry, who have nothing, they will work for anything, for peanuts. And we cannot even punish those billionaires who are hiring them because now they're legal. And as you know, we have now over 90 million Americans who are not even in labor force. 90.6 American citizens are not in labor force. Aside from that, we have estimated 25 million American citizens who are either on unemployment or they're working part-time. So this is a serious problem. And therefore, I'm asking each and every one of you, call your representatives, specifically flood the phone lines of John Boehner, of Daryl Issa, of Bob Goodlatte, chair of the Judiciary Committee. Daryl Issa is the chair of Oversight Committee, Paul Ryan, and Eric Cantor. These people are being used by this ruling oligarchy, but this anti-American and treasonous oligarchy that is led by George Soros and Mark Zuckerberg. And it is very important that we stop them, because if they succeed in corrupting the remaining members of Congress, it will cause drastic reduction in wages of American citizens. Next, of course, is the issue of the health reform. And of course, we know that now that Barack Obama simply lied when he told Americans that you will be able to keep your health insurance plans. What happened later, after they passed in the middle of the night without reading this 2,500-page monstrosity, this treasonous act, they issued a number of clarifications. And in those clarifications, they narrowed the requirements in such a way that if the insurance company is raising the premiums by just $5, as little as $5, it does not comply, then it doesn't comply, then it's not grandfathered. And basically, the goal here is to destroy a private health insurance industry and steer each and every American in those exchanges. What is happening in those exchanges is like with IRS, there is no security. We know that IRS has used the information that they got to act against us, to harass members of the Tea Party, conservative Republicans. Basically, they used the data that IRS received against American citizens. And the same, there is no question that the same will be done in those Obamacare exchanges. There is no privacy, there is no security. The premiums and particularly deductibles are significantly higher. We're seeing average deductibles of $5,000 per person, which is enormous. We're seeing the premiums going up by 50% on average for women and nearly 100% for men. This is a highway robbery. Now, are people surprised? Why should they be surprised? And if they see now that Obama is lying about the healthcare, why are they wondering and surprised about him lying about everything else? about him using a stolen social security number and all fabricated IDs. They should not be surprised. They see a modus operandi of pathological lying. Just recently, Fox had a Democratic Party congressman from New Jersey who was asked, isn't it lying? Barack Obama stated time and again that people will be allowed to use their insurances. Why, if they like them, why they're not keeping their word? And this congressman, uh, just without any remnant of any moral values, of any decency, simply responded, well, this is capitalism. Sorry, this is not capitalism. This is organized crime. Organized crime running this nation. This is criminal behavior. This is a thief who got in the White House using a stolen social security number, all fabricated IDs, a number of corrupt officials, congressmen, and judges who are criminally complicit in aiding and abetting this thief in covering up his fabricated IDs. And this thief is now hard at work stealing from American citizens anything and everything he possibly can. He incurred debt, which is equal to the debt that was incurred by some 42 US presidents in 230 years of US history. By the end of his term, if we allow him to finish this term, if those corrupt congressmen will allow this thief to finish the term, then the debt will be equal to that incurred by all 43 US presidents before him. And guess who's going to pay this debt? We all, through higher taxes. He's stealing our health insurance and steering us into socialized medicine that we don't want, that we'll have to pay through the nose and we'll get inferior care. That's what is happening. So I hope that people who are watching this video are going to help me. What I'm proposing right now is to start the protest. Don't forget that Woodrow Wilson tax, which is Federal Reserve Act and subsequent Income Tax Act, were passed over Christmas when nobody was watching. Let's not forget that Obama-Tax or Obamacare was passed over Christmas when no one was watching. And this billionaires mafia is pushing for amnesty act of some estimated 42 million illegals to be passed as soon as possible, probably over Christmas. So please flood the lines of Daryl Issa, John Boehner, Eric Cantor, Paul Ryan, Bob Goodlatte, and Kevin McCarthy, people who are running the House of Representatives. Please tell them that it's extremely important that American citizens do not want this amnesty. Please tell them that if they pass this anti-American treasonous amnesty, the Tea Party will be working very hard to throw all of them out of Congress and sooner or later try them for treason. And I'm planning protests and I'm asking you to join against people who are pushing for this amnesty, specifically George Soros and Michael Bloomberg in New York, and Jeff Zuckerberg here in California, as well as protests in front of the house of Daryl Issa, who is residing here in California and who stated that he might propose this amnesty. It is extremely important to stop this. We need people with signs in front of their homes. Bring this fight to their homes and tell them how much Americans hate this treasonous anti-American behavior. If you're willing to help, please email me at orly.taitz@hashmail.com, orly.taitz T as in Tom, A-I, T as in Tom, Z at hotmail.com. Also, you can write to me and call me. You can call me at 949-683-5411. Lastly, I wanted to talk about this $700 million website for healthcare.gov. It's a joke. One expert after another stated that a website like this could have been done for $1 million. So where did 700 million come from? Well, there is high probability that there are bribes, kickbacks involved and included in this. So what needs to be done in this situation? Well, we need to investigate. And let's look at Barack Obama's past. When Barack Obama was a state senator in Illinois, he organized for a friend of his, a gentleman by name Robert Blackwell, some 330,000 grant from the government of Illinois for some ping pong tournaments that Robert Blackwell organized. And Robert Blackwell paid Barack Obama over $100,000 in legal fees, even though there was not the only thing Barack Obama did was write a letter on his letterhead as a state senator asking for this grant. So it looks like a kickback, like a bribe. Next, as a U.S. senator, Barack Obama was able to organize and get a grant, $1 million a year grant for the Chicago University Hospital. His wife, Michelle Obama, got some $340,000, about a third, yet again, a third, to be on the board of this hospital. Now, Michelle Obama knows absolutely nothing about medicine. So there is a good probability that this grant was nothing but a bribe. And what's interesting that after Michelle Obama became the first lady, Chicago University Hospital did not hire anybody to replace her. This was not a position that was needed. It looks like a bribe that was given to Obama in exchange for him getting this grant for the hospital. Another interesting fact is the fact that Barack Obama was the president of Annenberg Challenge. Officially, Annenberg Challenge received some $320 million. According to Professor Stephen Diamond, they got some $500 million, $500 million. What was this money for? It was for it was for an after-school program, a program that they ran in a few schools in Chicago that was supposed to improve students' performance. Well, what happened was that after 6 years of Annenberg Challenge, when the students were tested, they did as lousy, as poorly as students in all the other schools. So this program did nothing. So where did this $500 million go? We don't know for sure. However, this needs to be investigated. We know that previously there were schemes where people got monies for charities, and then somebody sitting on the board of this charity basically refunded the money to those quote-unquote donors through the back door and got his cut, 7%, 8%, 10%. So those people were able to write off this whole amount and not pay taxes because it was a tax-deductible contribution to a charity. But in reality, they got this money back. Those schemes happened before. People went to prison for this. Did this happen with Annenberg Challenge? We don't know, but this needs to be investigated. Further on, we need to investigate the $700 million that went to create this website that doesn't even work, because there is a good possibility that there were kickbacks, bribes that were received by some officials who gave this no bid deal to the company to create this website. Now, how could they give those bribes? Uh, um, One of the ways to do it is using bogus social security numbers. Now let's remember, investigator Neil Sankey has found as many as 30 different social security numbers linked to Obama's name in different national databases. Could it be that those social security numbers, those bogus social security numbers, and those units of social security number, address, phone number, that they created those bogus units with bogus addresses and bogus social security numbers? Could it be that those were used to get bribes, to give bribes, to receive illegal campaign contributions? Yes, of course, it can. The problem is that we do not have anybody investigating. In Department of Justice, we have Eric Holder, who will do nothing to investigate Obama, and so far nothing was done in the U.S. Congress or by the judges. So I'm asking you to please contact members of the U.S. Congress, particularly Republicans. Of course, Democrats will do nothing about corruption and bribery and kickbacks. Forget it, they'll do nothing. Republicans might and demand investigation. Start investigating Annenberg Challenge, what happened to $500 million that they received. Investigate this website, $700 million that was received in a no-bid contract. And it's interesting that those contracts were not even given to American firms. This is just corruption. Now, when we have 90 million adult Americans not even in labor force, they're giving two contracts, one to a Canadian firm, one to a British firm. In this situation, they should have given contracts only to American firms. They should have been open biddings done to see companies that have good track records. They found the worst companies. They found one company that is currently sued by the British government for non-performance. British government is seeking to get money back from them. And another company is a Canadian company that is being sued by the provincial government in Toronto, in Ontario, Canada, for non-performance in creating a website and registry for diabetic patients in Ontario. And Canadian government is refusing to pay them $46 million that they were supposed to get on the contract because they did not perform. Please call your representatives and demand a legal action on behalf of the U.S. Congress to sue both the Department of Health and Human Services and those two companies in collusion to provide substandard care, in not providing proper care, and sue to get a refund of $700 million that were given to this company. We paid $700 million. We got a poor product that does not work. We need this money back, and we need to hire another company, an American company, and company that needs to be hired in open bidding. So please start flooding the phone lines of U.S. congressmen and demand action from them. And that was Taitz report. You can find more information on my website. I have two ways of getting to my website. One is taitzreport.com, T as in Tom, A-I, T as in Tom, Z, taitzreport.com. Or you can go on my website, Orly Taitz, ESQ, like esquire.com, and you can see on the front page, on the right side of the page, all of the pleadings, all of the documents, all of the evidence that was submitted to courts, and you can read all of the articles. And that was Taitz report for October 31st. This is Ori Taitz. Thank you for watching.